Let's ask the Republican governor of the great state of Texas, Greg Abbott, who joins us now. Governor, great to see you. Thank you so much. So the threshold that triggers this new executive order is 2,500 illegal crossings per day. We have been well above that for the last couple of years. There's the stats. Most recently, 2023, 6,782 on average per day. I don't remember a week in recent years, Governor, when daily crossings have been below 1,500. And many of these people are telling our Griff Jenkins, our Bill Malugin, that they're not coming to claim asylum. They're coming to claim work. All they want to do is get a job here, which makes them ineligible for asylum, but they're still coming. So how in the world will this executive order change anything?
So let's be clear, and Americans need to know this. The executive order does absolutely nothing to change the chaos created by Joe Biden on the border. Just to recap very quickly, as Senator pointed out, this all was started by Joe Biden when he issued those executive orders on his first day as president, wiping out all of the programs that President Trump had put into place. What Trump did led to the lowest illegal border crossings in more than 4 decades. Now there's all-time records where more than 10 million people have crossed the border illegally. But importantly, to what Biden did yesterday, it does nothing because he is actually, I'm going to differ from that. It actually entices and attracts more people to come into our country illegally. What this does is it says for the first 2,500 people coming across the border, they're going to do absolutely nothing. Then after 2,500 people cross the border a day, Joe Biden's going to stop with the asylum process. Well, that doesn't stop people from coming across the border. As you just pointed out, there are people crossing the border every single day who don't want asylum. They are terrorists. They are murderers. They are rapists. They have criminal records, or they're coming here for work. Coming here for work is not a reason to get asylum. And then where are the people that are going to be denying illegal entry? They're not there. Joe Biden is doing absolutely nothing to stop people from crossing into the United States illegally.
Which has led you to take matters into your own hands there in Texas. In fact, just a few minutes ago, you launched another initiative, Texas's 10 most wanted criminal illegal immigrants list. This is your attempt to chase down some of those bad guys who have gotten in, and we've lost track of them, and many of which are carrying out repeated crimes. What's your goal here, and will it work, Governor?
Well, Sandra, this is once again something that Texas is having to do to respond to Joe Biden's open border policies. He is letting in known criminals or people who cross the border and commit crimes in the United States of America. Texas is the first state to have a statewide crackdown on these criminals with a most wanted list to try to locate them, identify them, and arrest them. But Sandra, kind of like as you were pointing out, this is just the latest thing that Texas has done, but very important for you and your audience to know that because Texas has built our own border wall, because we've laid down hundreds of miles of razor wire border barrier, because we have National Guard, thousands of National Guard on the border behind that razor wire, in Texas, we have a decline of more than 74% in illegal immigration, while at the very same time it's going up in California, Arizona, and New Mexico. It shows that enforcement works. Open border policies like what Joe Biden has do not work.
Governor, I want to come back to the numbers again because in my other life plan, I was going to be an accountant. This is what Jay Johnson, the former DHS secretary under Obama, said about 1,000 people coming across the border a day. Listen here.
My staff will tell you if it was under 1,000 apprehensions the day before, that was a relatively good number. And if it was above 1,000, it was a relatively bad number, and I was going to be in a bad mood the whole day. I know that 1,000 overwhelms the system. I cannot begin to imagine what 4,000 a day looks like. So we are truly in a crisis.
So he said 1,000 a day overwhelms the system. Yet, under this new executive order, the threshold to restart allowing people to claim asylum is 1,500, 500 above the number Jay Johnson said overwhelms the system. What's going on?
Well, also remember this, when Jay Johnson said that, the vice president of the United States was Joe Biden. And obviously, 1,000 a day is chaotic, uncontrollable, destroys the United States of America. Under Joe Biden, not just under his new executive order, but also ongoing under Joe Biden, there's thousands of people crossing the border illegally. In fact, before we shut down Eagle Pass, Texas, there were 5,000 people crossing a day just in Eagle Pass, Texas alone. But know this, there's only one correct number about the number of people who should be crossing the border illegally a day, and that number is 0. So why Biden thinks it's a good policy to have thousands of people knowingly allowed, authorized by the United States of America to cross the border illegally is completely unacceptable. It's another reason why Joe Biden must be fired as president of the United States.
Let me ask you something, Governor. I guess following up on that point, I know the answer, but I'll ask it anyway, because this has been an administration that has, for quite some time, refused to admit this was even a crisis. You had a DHS secretary who was basically saying, our border is closed. But now for the White House, in the face of political pressure, to be taking this executive action, do you give the administration any credit for stepping in here and trying to stem the flow?
Sandra, to be clear, what this executive order does not in any way address the border crisis he created and will in no way reduce illegal immigration into the United States. To the contrary, what this order does is actually attract more people to cross the border illegally to try to be a part of that asylum process. So this actually hurts. It doesn't help the illegal immigration situation in the United States. So there is no credit that goes to Joe Biden for this, only condemnation for his reckless open border policies that are now going to be worse than before. Last thing about it, as was reported, when the policy officially went into effect last night, there was nothing stopping people from crossing the border illegally. Those images get back to the cartels. They get back to the people trying to cross the border illegally. Mm-hmm. They know it is open season to cross our border.
Yeah, as Bill Melugin pointed out, they're standing in front of the border fence taking selfies. Governor Greg Abbott of the great state of Texas, always good to catch up with you, sir. Thank you.
Governor, thank you.
Thank you all.